Hey friends, good afternoon. Sunday here in New York City, the 12th, 2:30 p.m., 47 degrees Fahrenheit. It's good to see everybody. It's been a little bit. Guggenheim on our left. We're inside of Central Park. Here on the East Drive, making our way south. To my left, the Reservoir to our right. Lots of people enjoying a pretty nice day here in New York City. A little cool, a little cloudy. That's okay. Nellie's here, Diana Lee. Sorry if I missed your chats before them. Say hello again, if you wouldn't mind. Bailey, Ambrose, it's so good to see all friendly faces. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Give it a couple minutes for folks to gather. Helicopter above us. Coming up to 86th Street, which is one of the big cross streets in Manhattan. The Neue Gallery to our left. The Met ahead of us. Gregory Kelly's here. Joanne. So good to see everybody. And Nellie's got us loud and clear. Good to know. Thank you. We're going to follow this turn. Again, this is the East Drive in Central Park. The drives make up a 6-mile loop of the park. We've done that a few times before. But today, superb Owl Sunday. So we've been talking about the owls here for a long time. And I think today we're going to try to see them. We're going to try our best. Oh, that's so kind, Diana. Thank you. And Gregory, I saw your message as well. Thank you for that. British Gray. Hope all is well in Florida. It's so good to see everybody. As folks continue joining and gathering, obviously want to say a big thank you to everybody. We got so many nice messages, comments on YouTube and Instagram following our absence over the last little while. So we appreciate all the kind messages of support that everybody sent. Sue K is here checking in from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Owl Sunday. Yep, it's superb Owl Sunday. We are going to find some owls. So we know of two, at least. The one we've been trying to see for a long time, I guess, is named Geraldine. And that's the one that's been camped out on Cedar Hill, which is pretty close to where we are. So that's where we're headed first. But you guys may have also heard there's been one in the news lately called Flaco, which is a Eurasian, I think it's called a Eurasian eagle owl. Feel free to fact check me. And so this one is an owl that normally lived in the Central Park Zoo. Some nefarious folks cut open its netting, I guess. It wasn't really a cage, it was like, I guess, some sort of netting or something. So they cut it open and it escaped. And it's been on the loose for, I don't know, at least a week now, maybe longer. And since it had been in captivity for so long, there were obviously a lot of concerns that whether it would even be able to feed itself in the wild. I think the last thing I read was it does appear to have eaten at least a little bit. But that'll be the second one that we try to find today. We probably, I suspect we'll have actually better luck finding that one because I guess so many photographers and stuff have come out. First, Alexander Hamilton. Rick Enns is here from Canada. Hey, good to see you. We love our Canadian viewers. Rick says, traveled to New York twice and was fascinated. Hey, well, thanks for being with us. We're in Central Park today. That was Alexander Hamilton. This is the Metropolitan Museum of Art, my favorite museum. And we're next to the obelisk, Cleopatra's Needle, the oldest object in Central Park. Pop back onto the drive in a moment when we don't get in anybody's way. It's a fairly mild day, again, pretty cloudy, so lots of sports and stuff. We should see a lot of people today. There's the tourist helicopter above us. Very loud and obnoxious. There's Cleopatra's Needle. So this area that we're walking next to, that's the Great Lawn right there. We visit frequently. That's where we see a lot of the Canadian geese. And then it's a little hard to see, but right there is Belvedere Castle and Turtle Pond. But we're, I think, going to go straight over to Cedar Hill, walk around a little bit, see if we're able to find our first owl, Geraldine. What a name. Sue K says, I've heard owls where I live and seen one on a drive down towards Albuquerque. And says, I think they're hard to see even when you can hear them. Yeah, I'm not expecting, I'm not sure how much success we'll have today, but we will put in a strong effort. Probably should have brought binoculars or something. Like I said, I think we're going to have a bit more luck with the second one because it's kind of a minor celebrity right now here in New York City since it's been on the lam for, I guess, over a week. And I think, there's photographers looking, bird lovers, and people from both Central Park and the zoo, they're obviously trying to return it safely to the zoo. Notorious Bill, William, hey, it's good to see everybody. So we're coming up Cedar Hill on the left. So that's our first stop. As I've always said, and echoing what Sue K said, which is that they're probably pretty hard to find. I've always been counting on finding photographers and then just going where they are. So fingers crossed, folks. But first stop, Cedar Hill to look for Geraldine. on today's superb Owl Sunday. All right, let's cross over when it is safe to do so. Bikes have the, ooh, these folks. Stupid. They have the don't walk sign and not yielding whatsoever. All right, so how should we do this? I guess we'll go in first. We'll go down a little bit. The sense I've gotten is that she's probably up here, but as you can see, there's lots of fencing and stuff, so we may have to go around a little bit. Diana says, elderly friend used to call helicopters fancy egg beaters. I'm just starting to look into the trees a little bit. The funny thing is, there's all these things in the trees that look like they could be owls. So like I said, I'm really hopeful we can leverage somebody else's good work and find a photographer who's here, lens pointed somewhere, and go in that direction. Brenda's here. Good to see you. All right, let's keep our eyes peeled and listen as well for any hooting. And if anybody wants to Google Geraldine, Central Park, Cedar Hill, and see if they can help us, we are, of course, open to that. RoboJax, good to see you. All right, see you, McFly. Thanks for contributing. Again, there's the Met over there.
Everything.
Let's see, lawn closed, restored lawn taking, it's having a little rest. So that's why the lawns are closed. All right, let's just pause and look and listen. William says Dutch tried to look for the owl. Oh, that's good to know. Do you know if he was looking for this one or if he was looking for Flaco? And obviously go follow our friend Dutch Moz, one of the best and most entertaining New York City live streamers, who I believe was in one of our favorite places today, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. We have a few videos from there. I tried to live stream once. It did not work so well. So I hope he's having more luck than I did. So if Geraldine is in one of the trees further up, and since the lawn is closed, what we'll have to do is go back up to the drive and just walk around up there. So maybe that's what we'll do next. I heard what I thought was a hoot, but it might have been a person. Oh, but there's people looking in the trees. Let's head in that direction. It's just so funny. There's all these things in the trees that look like big lumps. Could it be an owl? Who knows? Rolo's here. Dutch was looking for Flaco. Okay, so that's who we're going to try to see next. And like I said, I think we're going to have more luck because so many more people have been keeping an eye on him. I guess Geraldine, you know, has been here for a long time. Old news, sorry to say. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go where the fence ends. We're gonna walk around, go up the drive, backtrack a little bit, but next to a different set of trees. Sally's here, good to see you. Gregory says the hooting of owls is so calming and soothing. Yeah, I'd really like to hear it. Even if we don't see it, it'd be fun to hear it. All right, so we're gonna hang a right here. And we will walk along this part of the drive and see if we can get closer to these trees at the top of the hill and see what we find. John's here. Hey, it's good to see you. Thanks for making this one. Next to us is the bike lane. Well, actually, it's the driving lane, so I'm just staying on the grassy path right here. Okay, I'm going to start being quiet and try to listen and look in the trees. So this is what I'm looking at. Just kind of looking and listening all over. I'm sure this is riveting entertainment, but I've been meaning to do this for weeks now. Oh, did we have folks speaking French? I was only partially paying attention. Okay, no sighting so far yet. Like I said, I think we'll have more luck with Flaco. Wanted to give this a good effort. Of course, it's a good effort with no binoculars and not really knowing what I'm doing. If they get me, if they catch me. Sure is pretty over here, and it really smells nice. Okay, so we'll come to the end of this section and then we'll start walking south, heading towards Flaco, where hopefully we'll have more luck. Like I said, I wanted to see Geraldine, but I didn't think we'd have success unless there were photographers here. Flaco, I think we'll have more success. Well, it's Superb Owl Sunday, so our choices are Geraldine and Flaco.
I don't want to use something that's going to take on the value. It's like the federal budget is not.
I think I'm rooting for Flaco. It's going to be a close game, though. See, this is what I mean. Like, there's stuff in the trees that look like big lumps. Gregory says, looks like the grass is coming back in early spring. So it's been such a weird winter, as you guys could probably tell. It was like 60 degrees the other day. All right, I'm just giving it one last careful look and listen. And then we'll start heading south. And I'm looking one more time for photographer. There's a photographer, but do they know what they're doing? I don't really think so. I think they're just looking at the trees. But yeah, not really any snow. We did finally break the quote-unquote measurable snow record, but it was this tiny amount. It was a dusting, a healthy dusting, but not really more than a dusting. And then it got really warm again. All right, folks, we're gonna head south now. Let's go see if we can find Flaco and not hit any people on bikes. And I will keep looking into the trees and for photographers on the off chance, but I think my attempt at finding Geraldine has failed. Preston's here. I mean, there are all sorts of birds here. If I see any other interesting ones, we will of course look for them as well. We saw a blue jay the other day, and there's been some cardinals, really pretty. Again, I don't know much about this stuff, but always fun to see different things in the park and have different experiences here. All right, so we're gonna head south. I don't see anything. All right, we tried. Brenda says they could be squirrel nests. Yeah, I think there's squirrel stuff, and there's other bird nests, and then there's just stuff that gets caught up there in the wind from time to time. Surprise. One of my favorite sculptures here in the park. Hey Robin, it's good to see you. Thanks for the welcome. This guy's really struggling to get uphill. Doop, doop, doo. Ooh. And I think his bike has broken. That's no fun. Okay, so we're going south along the East Drive. And if I remember the latest, I think Flaco was near the Heckscher Field, so that's got a nice scenic walk to get over there. We'll probably cut into the park a little bit, give you guys some other sights instead of just doing the drives. That's no fun, taking one of those pedicab rides and having it break down on a hill. No fun. So to our left, if we were to hang a left, is the one of my favorite sites, the Conservatory Water, aka the model sailboat pond. We're going to cut in over here. This is the parking lot to the Loeb Boathouse. Loeb Boathouse currently closed, waiting for the city to identify a new operator. 21 Awesome, good to see you. Brad's here. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for hopping on this Sunday, hanging out in Central Park with us as we look for owls. Our first attempt unsuccessful, so this is attempt number 2. We're gonna head pretty close to the southwest corner of the park, which, if you're familiar, is near Columbus Circle. But we'll see some cool sights along the way, like the boathouse, the lake, Belvedere fountain, Bethesda fountain. Oof. You can tell it's been a minute since I've done this. Let's see the little boaters here, though. Little boaters here at the Loeb Boathouse. Hopefully they will find a new operator before spring, and certainly we would like them to have the rowboats back again.
Oh my god, that would be so nice. Why has he actually ended up moving to? Oh nice, that's so cool.
The limbic is here. Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'd prefer having a real winter, not whatever this is. So we can see as we look over the lake, some of the beautiful buildings over here, the San Remo, the Majestic. John says, couldn't find a current update on Geraldine's location, but there were some great pictures of her. She's rather majestic. Yeah, she looks beautiful. But I also think this is one of those cases where the photos people do take, they're using these incredibly fancy cameras with huge lenses. So even if we saw the photographers, it's a good question of whether we could zoom in enough. Hopefully we'll have luck with Flaco. Geese, honk, 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 honk. Robin says it's so warm this winter. What's summer going to be like? I know, I hear you. This is one of my favorite views in New York City. Photos is here. Good to see you. Elaine is here. I know there's lots going on today. There's the Lunar New Year parade, and there's some sort of football game later. But here in Central Park, it is Superb Owl Sunday. Love this view. The lake and the San Remo towering majestically over. Lino's here. Yeah, it's good to see everybody again. I know it's been a while. I don't know, I kind of doubt that we're back to a full daily schedule. But, you know, we'll start to tune back in a little more. Photos, that's what I heard. But here in Central Park, it is Superb Owl Sunday. Bethesda fountain off for the winter, even though it's way too warm. I don't think it's going to be freezing over anytime soon. Let's go get a few more views of the lake. So whenever it reopens, you can imagine eating on the terrace there over at the Boathouse, overlooking the lake. The Ramble in the distance. Lots of folks hanging out. Obviously some geese in the water. I see some ducks. I don't see any turtles. So they must have gone somewhere to hang out, escape the cold. Let me try to zoom in on this duck. Let's see. Pretty, huh? Super quiet here today. Even, you know, there's a decent number of people, but usually this part of the park is filled with people and super noisy. Guess folks are having a relaxing Sunday. The folks who chose to hang out in the park. I think we're gonna cut through here. So this is Bethesda Arcade. The beautiful Minton tiles on the ceiling, super colorful. Let's go check those out as we make our way up.
No, we will at some point. We don't have a schedule yet. Oh, yeah.
How beautiful, huh? Robin, you're totally right. They do not make them like they used to. Kelly's here, took the sun in upstate western New York. Wow. Well, you could use the break from all the snow. We'll allow it. So as we walk up, this brings us to the mall and the literary walk. Ooh, you can see a little bit of sun in the distance. That's where we're headed. But we'll walk down the mall first. Bunch of soap there, so it must have been one of the bubble guys doing those big bubbles for the kids. Yeah, Kelly, isn't the tile work incredible? Minton tiles, M-I-N-T-O-N. And I guess it's the only application of those tiles on a ceiling. Naumburg bandshell. With some dancing in front. So we'll make our way south along the mall. And then we're going to hang right. Like I said, we're going to head over to the Heckscher ball fields. As our next stop. And hopefully get to see Flaco, Owl on the Lamb. Terry's here. Welcome everybody. Relaxing day here in Central Park. Lots of music, lots of vendors. Oh, that's nice. Photo says the Central Park Mall is so nice. It's one of the most relaxing and beautiful walks in the city.
It's very slow, Jacqueline. Dangling ball, dangling ball, dangling from my shorts.
It's my pleasure, Kelly. Robin says Christmas music, yep. sort of the right season, but considering how unseasonably warm it is, I don't know if it's the most fitting music for the day, but you know, whatever. If it was cold and snow covered, it might feel a little more appropriate. Women's Rights Pioneers Monument on our right. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. So just point this out while I'm here. So if you were to go down this path, it would take you right over to the Balto Statue, which is just on the other side of that arch. You can also go around this way. But we're going in a different direction today. But who knows, we'll see. We'll see where things take us, because we'll have to head back that way eventually. Walter Scott on our left, Robert Burns on our right. So it's the mall and the literary walk. Shakespeare to our left. Elma's here, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So we're going to start making our way over to the Heckscher Fields and see if we can find all the people photographing Flaco, who's a little celebrity here in New York City. And since it's a whole situation, but basically, I mentioned earlier, some nefarious people cut open Flaco's enclosure at the Central Park Zoo. The bird escaped, first flew over to Fifth Avenue. I mean, incredibly dangerous. All of this is so stupid. Whoever did this are serious lowlifes. It's a bird who's been in captivity for over a decade. It wasn't even clear that it knew how to feed itself outside of the zoo. So seriously dumb, if you ask me. Anyways, made its way over to Fifth Avenue, surrounded by people, cars, noise. I mean, just like horrific. Eventually flew back to the park, but not to the zoo. So it's been monitored ever since. And obviously they're trying to return Flaco to the zoo safely. And part of the reason I was saying that is, you know, we'll follow the guidance of whoever's there. So we're not going to do anything dumb. We're not going to go chasing after it, making wild sounds or anything. If we can get to a place and safely observe, that's what we'll do. So as we make our way down, this is the carousel on our right. And it'll take us right to the ball fields, which is where I last heard Flaco was hanging out. And behind us, or behind the park rather, in front of us, is the Central Park South, the Towers of Billionaires Row, 59th Street, 58th Street, 57th Street. Kind of a cloudy day, like I said. Oh, carousel's running today. I didn't know if it would be open or not. It's been closed a lot of the time we've been here, you know, I guess when it was too cold or rainy. There were a couple of really rainy days. So we're going to head towards Pine Bank Arch, which should be on the other side of these fields. So we'll walk this way, make a left and a right. Yeah, Kelly, you enjoy that view? There's a couple of good spots behind us on top of some of these rock formations where you can get some really spectacular photos. So maybe, oh, there's lots of people over there, so I think that will indicate where Flaco is. So we're gonna head in that direction. So, like I was saying, yeah, there's lots of these rock formations where you can get some really clear, unobstructed views of the buildings outside of the park. Definitely check out some of our older Central Park videos if you want to see more of that. Lots of people assembled over in that direction, so that should indicate where Flaco's hanging out. Go see if we can get a nice view. My pleasure, my pleasure. This person's doing like some rock climbing over there, and I don't know. I don't know about that. No, thank you. Rick Ends, Home Alone, Lost in New York. Great movie, yes. One of these days, we'll do some sort of movie walk and find different scenes, filming locations. One of these days, one of these days. I feel like I say that about a lot of things, but it'll be true one day. So these are the Heckscher fields I was talking about, and there's all the people pointing up into the air. So like I said, I think that will indicate where Flaco is hanging out. And like I said, that's kind of what I was hoping would happen with Geraldine. You know, that there'd be a handful of people just pointing at a tree. No such luck, no such luck.
That's pretty fast.
Oh, and again, some of the serious photography equipment that people have. Okay, everybody's looking up. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. Where are they looking?
They keep talking to me.
And let me do this in such a way as not to get in the way of the sports that's going on. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to try to get a good view for you guys. It's going to take me a second though.
Oh.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Okay. Bear with me. It's hard to, this is a tough, it's pretty far up there. There you go. I would need a, this would be a good day to have a tripod. Okay, let me see if we can get a different angle. But it is a wild creature, so it's made to kind of hide a little bit into the background there.
Alexis, get over here.
I'm going to try to sit and see if I can get super stable. Let's see. What is the best way to do this? Let's go behind for a second. Let's go behind a little bit. Let's see if we can get a different angle. Of course, there's probably a reason all the photographers are in one place. They have much better equipment, though. Serious equipment as opposed to our amateur equipment. Okay. Let's try this again. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, so right there in the middle of the frame, right this second as you hear my voice, that is Flaco the Owl. Success! We've done it. We have had a successful, superb owl Sunday. And again, Flaco somebody broke open Flaco's enclosure at the Central Park Zoo. It is I believe it's called a Eurasian eagle owl, if you want to Google that. And if you want to Google Flaco, F-L-A-C-O, New York City, you'll see all sorts of news articles, videos, whatever. Let's go this way, be a little higher up. Try some different angles, but this is we were successful. Oh, squirrel. And so there's all sorts of folks who have been monitoring Flaco. Thank you. Losing my sunglasses here. That was nice of them. So there's all sorts of people, bird lovers, amateurs like myself, and people from Central Park and the Central Park Zoo keeping an eye on Flaco to make sure nothing happens. And when on occasion he does fly down, to attempt to safely return him to the zoo. All right, give me a second. Even though I've now seen the bird a couple times, it's hard to keep track of where he is. It is super, all the limbs look exactly the same. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Okay, bear with me. This is so hard to do. It's like I spot him with my eyes, and then I have to find where in the camera frame he is. What is the best angle over here? It really blends in. That's the crazy part. I mean, it's not crazy, but you know what I mean. Tori's Bill checking out. It's good to see you. Okay, let's go over here again. It's super hard to find a good angle here. Okay, where are we looking? Where are we looking? Well, there's a reason people are not over here. This is not the best angle. Where did Flaco go? There he is. We're zoomed in all the way. I have heard that occasionally he'll fly from limb to limb and other stuff, but maybe he's sleeping. But there is Flaco. So we're on one of the big rock faces over here. And here's the bird watchers and so forth. That's where we started. They're snapping photos, taking video, kind of keeping a vigil over here. Again, trying to keep an eye on Flaco, make sure he stays safe and hopefully can be safely returned to the zoo. There was concern for a while that he wasn't even eating, though I think the latest is they do think he ate at least a little bit. The funny thing is I think these people are here basically all the time, so it's so funny that, but as you can see, it's really hard to see him, so maybe he caught a some of the rodents kind of wander around. Maybe he caught one without anybody noticing. I'm just going to wander over here a little bit and see what other angles we might be able to get. But check out some of these. Look at this. Look how beautiful Central Park is. Photos. What a hoot. Sue K says, looks just like the picture on Wikipedia. They lived 20 years in the wild and up to 60 in captivity. Well, that was the big concern, that it's been in captivity so long that they weren't even sure if he knew how to feed in the wild. So there's a squirrel walking on the tree. So that's what I meant about like how he might be feeding. There's a squirrel wandering on the tree. So an unlucky little rodent, for example, could walk by and Flaco could go chomp, chomp. Ooh, well, I'm glad we got to see Flaco. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, and obviously we haven't had a chance to get out and about. And the next goal is to see Geraldine at some point. And of course, all along we could have gone to the Central Park Zoo. My wife and I haven't done that in a long time. One day we'll get to take the kiddo. All right, let's see if there's any last looks we want to take from over here. Every time I move, I lose track of where he is. It's ridiculous because all of the tree limbs look exactly the same. All looks exactly the same. And he blends in real well. Let's go on this side a little bit, see if there's, let's go up. This is Umpire Rock, I think. Let's go up here and see if we can get a different angle altogether. And let me just get my bearings again. It's kind of absurd. I could keep seeing it over and over and over again and then completely lose it. Oh, okay. Framed by this. Okay, okay. I think you can see his ears in this one. It's hard for me to tell if he's facing, I think he's facing us. I think those are his ears. But there he is. Yeah, so Terry, he is an escapee. He was cut out of his cage. Cage isn't exactly the right word. I guess he was behind some sort of netting or something. And somebody sliced it open and he flew out, originally onto Fifth Avenue, surrounded by people and cars. It was a super dangerous situation. And they were very close to catching him there. They even had I think there was an NYPD cop posted, keeping it safe. But it flew back into Central Park, but not to the zoo. And then I guess recently he had come down onto one of these fields and they did attempt to catch him, I think with a rat as a tasty morsel for him to eat. But he did not take the bait, so to speak, or he did and got away from the trap. So the vigil continues, waiting for him to come down and safely be returned to the park. All right, let's do one more view from down here and then we'll head back. Okay, there he is. Getting a little better at. There he goes. Well, that's the hope, Greg. So the concern, Gregory, was that because he's been in captivity for like over a decade, it wasn't exactly clear that he would be okay in the park on his own. So TBD. They do think he's eaten a little. All right, let's head back east. I got to start heading back home. Like I said, we're not probably fully back in the game just yet. So I'm going to start making my way home. And maybe we'll get one last try at seeing Geraldine. Since we just had so much luck seeing Flaco, who knows? But in any event, I'm glad we did get to see Flaco, a little celebrity here in New York City. On the lam, on the loose, here in Central Park.
But they've been here a long time.
But lots and lots of well-wishers looking after him, so hopefully he will be okay. I would call that a successful, superb owl Sunday. Ooh, and the sun is starting to come out. Show you guys a view south. And our very good friend Donna Stedham's made it from a very cold Weaver, Alabama. And Elaine is appreciative of getting to see Flaco. Yeah, that was really fun, right? It does give some insight into why the fancy bird watchers use such intense equipment. So we have, on this phone, we're able to zoom in 6x, and you could see, as you know, even at 6 times, I would not argue that we had a super close-up view. Like, were those his ears? Is he facing us? A little hard to tell. So that's why folks use those incredibly fancy cameras and lenses that probably cost, you know, as much as a small car so they can get like super close-up views. Joanne says, I bet he misses meal delivery. You know, once you get used to DoorDash, it's hard to go back, right? Ooh, lots of music coming from the mall, I think. It's usually where the drummer sets up shop. Got the carousel going strong over here.
That's good. I'm glad.
That's the Chess and Checkers house that's been under reconstruction, renovations. And behind it would be the Woolman rink for a little ice skating. Playmates Arch. Over here in the children's section. I think we'll try to take a different route on the way back. So maybe we will go see the Balto statue. John says, are authorities leaving him food or just hoping his instincts kick in? So, that's a good question. My understanding is, I think they are leaving him food, but as you can see, I don't think they're really able to get very close. So I think I saw that they have been setting food in various places. I don't know how close it gets. And they're just kind of hoping he gets to it somehow. And when he did go down to the field, I think they came out with with some food and some sort of a trap. But in the meantime, yeah, they don't want him to go hungry, so I guess they were hoping indeed that he would, find some stuff to eat. They think he has had some food. I'm sure you can figure out how they made that determination. Yeah, Kelly, it's nice. Armis, my pleasure. So we're gonna hang a right here and head towards Balto. Let's go see Balto. Hey Dorg Rock, good to see you. The buildings are 5th Avenue. And how long has Flaco been on OM? I think it's been over a week. What comes to mind is 10 days, but I feel comfortable saying at least a week. Probably almost 2 weeks. Let's go see Balto, and then maybe we'll give it one last chance at seeing Geraldine. If you were to make a right here, this would take you right to the Central Park Zoo, as well as the Delacorte clock, but that just went off, so gonna pass on that today. There's Balto, favorite amongst the kids. And if anybody is super familiar with the story, obviously Sled Dog helped save numerous children. Another member of the party, I think the leader of the party, was a dog named Togo. And there's a similar statue of Togo in, I think it's called Seward Park in Chinatown on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Oh, squirrel. And if you walk Canal Street east as far as you can take it, and I'm just trying to remember my mental map here, I think kind of where it gets, forget exactly how it connects, but when it gets near to East Broadway, there's a little park called Seward Park. It's near a library. And in that little park is a beautiful statue of Togo, and basically nobody goes to that one, except the people who live around there. Because I guess the Disney movie was about Balto, not Togo. Something like that. Who knows? For whatever reason, the Balto statue is infinitely more popular. All right, let's start heading north. We're going to go back to Cedar Hill. I guess we'll take the scenic route this time. So is it Togo in the movie? I haven't watched the movie. Need to do that one day. But I wonder why nobody goes to that statue. Every time I've gone, I've never once seen anybody taking a picture of it. Henry Clay Frick House right there, the Frick Collection, one of the best museums and art collections in New York City, though the collection is temporarily on Madison Avenue at Frick Madison, as the house is being renovated. Beautiful Frick collection. Imagine that was your house. Block to block on 5th Avenue, overlooking Central Park. Not too shabby. Nice digs if you can swing it. Hey Colleen, good to see you. Thanks for being on. Anybody who just joined, today is Superb Owl Sunday here in New York City. We just saw Flaco, We originally tried to see Geraldine at Cedar Hill. That's where we're headed back to. We'll give her one more try. Flaco the escapee from Central Park Zoo. Geraldine, not from the zoo. So one is wild, one was in captivity. Again, a pretty mild day in New York City, so lots of folks out. When we left, it was about 47 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not super windy or anything. This is the East 72nd Street playground, one of many, many, many playgrounds here in Central Park. And as we cross the street here, this will be 72nd Street. This brings us directly to Conservatory Water and the beautiful model sailboat pond. Let's go check that out.
And you see, wait,
As well as a couple of beautiful statues. And on our left is Pilgrim Hill, which we'll come back to during cherry season, because this is one of the areas that gets absolutely stunning, covered in blossoms. So we'll be back when the time is right.
Where are they this year?
We'll take the stairs today. Ooh, more music in the park. Very musical day. Hawks and cameras here. Good to see you. I see ducks. Let's go see the ducks. Oh, just a nice view this way. The bull's here. Oh, Gregory, it's good to be back. Like I said, we're kind of easing back into things, so I don't think we'll be daily yet. But Lisa was kind enough and feeling well enough for me to get out for a little bit. So obviously, everybody, please send a message of love and support to Lisa. She's back at home looking after the kiddo. Hopefully watching. That's a Le Pan over there, so good spot to get some lunch, grab a coffee, and then come sit over here, look at the water, watch the ducks, listen to the music. And obviously everybody go follow Naboul, doing streams from the south of France, just about as beautiful a place as you can imagine. Watching them kick their little duck feet. To our left, Hans Christian Andersen. That's a fun picture of the family and the dog. Oh, thank you guys. Pineapple Water, good to see you. I'll say a little more at the end of this stream, Pineapple.
Se vuoi vedere un po' di show, ne ho chiamato show.
There's one of the bubble guys. So these guys bring these big buckets full of soapy water and make huge bubbles for the kids to play with. Of course, as with any entertainment in the park, they do appreciate and oftentimes expect to be tipped. So bring a few bucks, bring some cash. And then over on this side, Alice in Wonderland. This is one of my favorite views, especially when it snows. So hopefully, at some point this winter we'll get some snow. I mean, some real snow, not a dusting. So we're going to take this path right back to Cedar Hill, which is where we tried to see Geraldine earlier. We'll give it one last try. One last try. I feel good that we got to see Flaco, though. That was fun. But we'll give Geraldine one last try. You never know. So I think our best bet is to do what we did before, actually, which is go back up to the drive. Because every sense I've gotten has been that was more likely to be successful than being on the bottom of the area. So let's walk up this hill. Let's get our cardio today, folks. My step count has gone down precipitously. All right, so we're going to start to look and see if we see any photographers, anybody looking knowingly into the trees. Anybody looking? There's people looking, but not knowingly. All right, let's go around. Give this one last try. If you're just joining, this is Superb Owl Sunday here in New York City. We are exploring my favorite place in New York City, Central Park. There is one wild owl named Geraldine who hangs out over here in Cedar Hill. And then there was a second owl named Flaco who was broken out of the Central Park Zoo. We did see Flaco, so feel free to scroll back, I don't know, 20 minutes if you want to see Flaco. This is our second attempt at seeing Geraldine. We were not successful the first time. We haven't been successful ever seeing Geraldine, so I don't have high hopes, but what do they say? Try, try, try again.
In my lifetime.
And the thing is, all the pictures I've seen of Geraldine are usually, again, from these incredibly fancy cameras, so it's all super zoomed in. So I don't even know which tree to begin to look at. Just that she's been in this area. Okay, so let's pause and just start to look around. The problem is if she's in one of these, everything looks like an owl to me. Just saw a squirrel in the tree. There's a nest. It's getting very quiet so I can listen. Daryl's here, Noble Sweetness. Hey, it's good to see all of our friends. Cammy's here. John, thank you for the kind words. All right, we're looking and we're listening. We're looking and we're listening. There's just so many trees over here, it's like impossible to know. There's one lump there. Let's zoom in on this lump. Do I think it's an owl? Probably not. Let's see. I'm going to go with no on that one. Yeah, John, I agree. It was, even if she was asleep, the only hope I have is that other people have spotted her and kind of know where to point the camera. So we'll try again another time. Maybe we'll do a night walk at some point.
They can have a wingspan up to like...
There, guys biking next to us are talking about Flaco. Like I said, a minor celebrity here in New York City. Okay, let's start heading back. Get out of here. Head back to the fam. Kind enough to let me get out of the house for a little bit today. But we're gonna have an early stream, end the stream early today. We'll get back eventually, we'll start to ease back into things. So like I said, don't necessarily expect any daily videos at this point, but we'll start easing our way back into things. Maybe we'll go finish by the Great Lawn. Or the Reservoir, I guess. Yeah, let's do the Reservoir. We'll finish by the water. That might be nice. I think that water will be nice. Nabul says, who's playing the Super Bowl? I don't know. Today is for us is Superb Owl Sunday. Geraldine versus Flaco. Flaco won since we found him. I'm just kidding. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. But here on Bagels and Walks, it is Superb Owl Sunday. Turtle Pond to our left, lots of ducks.
Yeah, this would be perfect. You're gonna have to see the pebbles that view from there.
We'll walk by the Great Lawn on our way to the reservoir. Great Lawn is where the geese like to hang out. John Bader says, oh, it's the Kansas City Owls and the Philadelphia Squirrels. Yeah, that sounds right. That does sound right. I have seen a few fishing rods today. And I'll be honest, that's not something I see too often. I've seen it a couple times in Harlem Mirror. There's Belvedere Castle. Lots of clouds today, but a nice view. And what'll happen is I've been noticing that the geese will go feed either in there, Turtle Pond, or at the reservoir. And then when they're on land, they stay here for the most part. Obviously, we do see a handful in other parts of the park, like the lake, but here's where we see the majority of them. I'll zoom in a sec so you can see just how many are just hanging out over here. Just hundreds. We've been having a kind of ongoing debate as to why this particular field, it's not the biggest, it's not the most lush, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My current best guess is that it used to be part of the reservoir and that there's something under the ground that they're attracted to. But one day we'll actually ask somebody at the park who knows what they're talking about. Cami says fertilizing the lawn. Absolutely. Hey, Vinny's here. Good to see you. So Flaco, as I said, is a, I believe, Eurasian eagle owl. If that tells you anything you need to know about Superb Owl Sunday.
All right, I'll continue with her.
All right, we're going to walk this part of the Great Lawn, the Met, right there. It'll take us right to the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. And we'll have a nice little relaxing stroll along the water to finish the stream. Like I said, somewhat shorter today. We're just kind of beginning to get back into the swing of things, easing back in. Still a lot going on with the fam. But appreciate everybody who was here today, hanging out with us, checking back in, and for all of the kind messages and well wishes we received over the last couple of weeks. It means a ton to us. So let's go over to the reservoir to finish things up for today. Walks and Camera says, are we dressed for an owl for this walk? How funny would that be? It really would be funny if you went over to the Flaco area dressed as an owl. I basically could guarantee you'd be Instagram, possibly the news, if anybody's interested in that sort of thing. Oh, that would really crack me up. So this is pretty much where we started. If anybody has been on the entire time, one of our first sites today was this, the Alexander Hamilton statue overlooking the Met. We came along the drive, but today we're going to go to the reservoir to finish things up. Nice peaceful water view. It's one of my wife Lisa's favorite parts of the park. Probably the place she has visited the most. So we'll go get that view specifically for her. I don't know what people are talking about watching tonight. This is the main event, Superb Owl Sunday. Here we are. We're doing it.
Yeah, what the hell?
There's a path right there that you can take directly to the Met. But we're going to go this way, directly to the reservoir, the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir, named after Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, for her many, many, many contributions to New York City and to the park. There's a beautiful plaque dedicated to her at Grand Central for other work that she's done in service to the city. Squirrels. Crossing yet another beautiful bridge here in Central Park. This is the South Gatehouse. And if you like these views of the reservoir, we have the two last videos we did before our break was of the reservoir. One at a sort of around sunset. And gosh, if anybody's in New York City, did you see last night's sunset? Unbelievable. And then our last one was on this gorgeous sunny day. And the reservoir has been filled with some of the most amazing ducks of all varieties. Again, I'm not much of a bird person by any stretch, but I can certainly recognize when they look different. And there's been all sorts of varieties and some geese. The funny thing is the geese basically all come at the same time. So you might be here and you'll start to hear the honking, and then all of a sudden hundreds of geese will come swooping in all at the same time.
I was like, oh, this is why I'm not enjoying life as much as I should be. And so now I'm trying to do more like
Rocky and Bullwinkle, oh my gosh. We watched the Rocky film series not too long ago. That was pretty good. But Rocky is one of the rare examples where the reboot is just as good, if not better, than the original. That might be a spicy take, but that is my feeling on the matter. Nabul, thank you.
we're like pretty wild.
So this is where my wife and I will come and do a little bit of exercise. We'll just do a loop of the reservoir. So I have a ton of videos of the reservoir from different seasons. And during spring, it does get cherry blossoms all around certain parts of it. So stay tuned, more to come from here. So as we finish up, I'll fill you guys in a little bit, since we did get, like I said, so many really wonderful messages from everybody. So we've been gone for a little over a week now. And basically what had happened was that Lisa's younger brother passed away unexpectedly. I'm not going to get into more detail than that, except to say that it was just among the saddest things you can imagine. And she's just been having an incredibly rough go of it. So, like I said, we're probably not back to full steam. There's a lot of healing and grieving still to go. But knowing that so many people were looking out for her, thinking of her, sending her well wishes, and I'm sure after I say this will continue to, suffice it to say, it means so much to both of us. I think the only other thing that I'll say about it, for now at least, is, you know, Lisa's message has basically been, you know, you got to tell the people around you that you love them, because these unexpected things happen. So everybody, do me a favor, send a little more love, strength, and healing wishes to Lisa. She could use all of them. We all could. And follow her advice. Reach out to the people that you love. Tell them the things you want to tell them. I'll start by saying a big thank you and I love you to my mom, who happened to be with us at the time. And in addition to helping us with Caleb, just did a tremendous amount of emotional labor in this whole situation. So hopefully she knows how much that meant to both of us. And I think that's where we'll leave it for today. Like I said, we'll start to, you know, we'll start to ease back into things and share more of our little life and adventures here in New York City. But we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, so if you're new to the channel, feel free to dip into the back catalog, catch up on some of the things you may have missed. But thanks everybody for hanging on out with us today. It means the world. Big thanks to Lisa for letting me get out here, stretch my legs a little bit, and help reconnect with everybody. Wishing everybody a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, because as you can see, we really do not know when we're going to go live next. And we'll see everybody again real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.